There's a $45 bag of collagen powder sitting next to millions of coffee machines right now. The label promises firmer skin, fewer wrinkles, stronger nails, and thicker hair. The wellness industry has turned collagen supplementation into an incredibly fast-growing category in beauty, projected to reach billions of dollars annually. Celebrities blend it into smoothies. Influencers stir it into lattes. Dermatologists are asked about it in nearly every single consultation. But here's what the marketing often leaves out. The collagen supplement industry is frequently selling you a destination that your own biology simply cannot guarantee. Today we are examining 3 popular collagen products built around a promise that independent science heavily debates and revealing what actually protects and builds collagen in your skin. Before we name the brands, we need to talk about a fundamental biological reality that this industry tends to gloss over. Collagen is a protein. When you ingest protein, whether it is a scoop of expensive collagen powder, a chicken breast, or lentils, your digestive system breaks it down into basic building blocks called amino acids. Those amino acids enter your bloodstream and are distributed based on your body's own survival priorities. It could be muscle repair, organ function, or joint support. Your body does not automatically route those amino acids to your face just because the front of the jar said, "for skin." The idea that drinking collagen directly translates to collagen in your skin is a massive oversimplification of human digestion. It is how marketing works, not necessarily how your body works. Stay with me until the end, because the 3 ingredients that actually do protect and build collagen in your skin are ones we have already covered in depth on this channel. And the connection is going to change how you view your entire routine. To really understand what we are buying, let's break down what collagen actually is. It is essentially the most abundant protein in our bodies, acting as the structural scaffolding for our skin, bones, and connective tissue. In your skin, those collagen fibers are what keep everything looking plump and firm. As we age, that natural production starts to slow down, and existing fibers break down faster than we can replace them. The result is that gradual loss of firmness and the fine lines we all know. So, the logic of just eating or drinking more collagen to replace what we've lost sounds beautifully straightforward, right? But the way human digestion actually works makes it much more complicated than the marketing implies. You see, collagen molecules are massive proteins made up of long chains of amino acids. When you swallow that expensive powder, your stomach acid and digestive enzymes don't just give it a VIP pass straight to your skin. They treat it like any other dietary protein. They dismantle that complex triple helix structure, breaking it down into individual amino acids and smaller peptide fragments. Once they enter your bloodstream, they essentially look just like the amino acids you would get from eating a regular protein-rich meal. Now, the supplement industry's clever response to this biological reality is the concept of collagen peptides. Basically, collagen that has been pre-broken down to theoretically make it easier to absorb. And to be fair, there are some studies showing that small peptides can be detected in the blood, and a handful of trials have noted modest improvements in skin hydration and elasticity over a few months. But when you really dig into this evidence, it often feels significantly more limited than what the glowing claims on the packaging suggest. Here is why I find this fascinating and a bit frustrating. Many of these published studies are quite small, often involving just 50 to 100 people. And crucially, a lot of them are funded by the supplement manufacturers themselves. Plus, those modest improvements in hydration are usually measured against a placebo, meaning they compare it to doing absolutely nothing, rather than against established, proven skincare staples like retinol or vitamin C. In my view, it is incredibly difficult to find robust, independent data suggesting that drinking collagen can match the visible, proven results of topical retinol, a solid vitamin C serum, or simply wearing daily broad-spectrum SPF. The interventions with the absolute strongest dermatological backing for protecting and building your collagen are almost all topical or behavioral, and none of them come in a $45 powder you stir into your morning coffee. So let's look at arguably the biggest player in the game right now, Vital Proteins Collagen Peptides. A few years ago, Nestlé Health Science acquired them in a transaction that valued the brand at over $1 billion. And honestly, from my perspective, that massive number reflects just how incredibly powerful the commercial momentum of the collagen category has become, rather than pointing to some undeniable new clinical proof. At around $30 for a tub, Vital Proteins is positioned as the ultimate premium, clean label lifestyle supplement, complete with massive celebrity endorsements. When you look at the packaging, the marketing centers on three bold claims: support for skin elasticity, joint health, and hair and nail strength. But I always find this next part fascinating. Like all supplements in the US, these claims have to be accompanied by a standard FDA disclaimer stating the product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. It's interesting how the bold promises that sell the product are printed beautifully front and center, while the required statement limiting those claims is often tucked away in a tiny font where most of us rarely look. Here is my main issue when researching this. When I try to find large, independent, placebo-controlled clinical trials specifically testing this exact vital proteins formula for skin outcomes, I struggle to find them. Instead, it seems like they lean heavily on the broader, general collagen peptide research literature, which is exactly the same small, often manufacturer-funded data pool we just talked about. So when you buy this, you aren't necessarily getting a product with bulletproof, independent evidence showing that this specific tub will give you the skin results the marketing implies. In my view, you are basically buying the standard amino acid building blocks, but paying a premium for a celebrity association and a gorgeous lifestyle identity. Think about it. Nestlé is one of the most sophisticated food science companies on the planet. They understand protein digestion and amino acid bioavailability perfectly. So that billion-dollar acquisition feels much more like a brilliant commercial move based on massive brand momentum, rather than a scientific breakthrough in skincare. And when you spend that $30 every month, it feels like you're simply subsidizing that brilliant marketing machine. Our second product takes a slightly different, more science-forward approach to its marketing. Let's talk about NeoCell Super Collagen. At around $25 for a 200-tablet supply, this product heavily highlights that it is built specifically around type 1 and type 3 collagen. And if you know a bit about skincare, you probably know that those are the exact types of collagen, predominantly found in our skin and connective tissues. This type 1 and type 3 designations is doing some incredibly heavy lifting for their marketing. It strongly implies a targeted delivery system, as if consuming these specific types gives those amino acids a VIP GPS map directly to your face, rather than anywhere else in your body. But from a biological standpoint, this just isn't how protein metabolism works. You see, the type printed on the label only describes the structure of the collagen before you swallow it. Once it hits your digestive system, whether it is type 1 from a bovine source or type 3 from fish skin, it all gets completely dismantled into the exact same basic amino acid pool. Your body does not magically reassemble them back into type 1 collagen and mail them straight to your forehead. It distributes those amino acids according to its own metabolic priorities, which could mean using them to repair a sore muscle instead of plumping up your skin. But what I find most eye-opening about this, brand is what you find when you look beyond the label. If you dig into public records, you'll see that NeoCell has actually faced regulatory scrutiny in the past. They've had pushback from regulatory bodies like the FTC regarding whether some of their prominent health claims were actually supported by competent and reliable scientific evidence. While the product is still widely sold today with slightly modified language, that history of regulatory scrutiny isn't exactly something they advertise on the front of the bottle. So if you're choosing NeoCell over a generic collagen powder specifically because you trust that type 1 and type 3 label, you might be making a purchasing decision based on a biological claim that your own digestion essentially renders irrelevant. In my view, that premium price tag reflects clever marketing differentiation, rather than a scientifically validated delivery advantage. A well-respected dermatologist with nearly 2 decades of experience and thousands of patients was recently asked on record what she really thinks about eye creams. Her answer was incredibly eye-opening. She essentially said that even the most expensive luxury eye cream in the world rarely contains anything that your standard, well-formulated daily moisturizer doesn't already have. Think about that. The eye cream industry generates billions of dollars every single year, selling a product category that many of dermatology's own experts argue is built on a distinction that doesn't truly exist. Now, yes, the skin around your eyes is absolutely thinner and more delicate than the skin on your cheeks. That is a biological reality. But what is highly debatable is the industry's clever narrative that this thinner skin automatically requires a completely separate, tiny jar with a completely separate, massive price tag. Today, we are taking a hard look at 3 luxury eye creams charging anywhere from $80 to an astonishing $340 per ounce. We'll explore why much of the independent science suggests this entire category might just be brilliant marketing, and reveal what many dermatologists actually recommend you use for the eye area instead. This part of the video is going to look a little different today. I'm not going to give you a list of new hero products to go out and buy, because the 3 interventions with the absolute strongest published evidence for protecting and building collagen in your skin are not secret ingredients you have never heard of. They are things we have already covered in depth on this channel, and connecting the dots here is the entire point. Let's start with topical vitamin C. When formulated effectively, typically around 10% to 15% L-ascorbic acid at the correct pH, it can actually stimulate collagen synthesis right in the skin cells responsible for producing it. The beauty of this mechanism is that it completely bypasses digestion. You apply it to your skin, it absorbs, and it goes to work directly at the source, activating the enzymes that build new collagen fibers. Research published in major dermatological journals consistently shows significant, visible reductions in photo damage when using a properly formulated serum. It works right where the collagen is produced. No digestive lottery required. Next is topical retinol and its prescription strength counterparts. In my view, retinoids have a stronger, more established clinical evidence base for collagen stimulation than almost any other ingredient in skincare. Retinol works by activating receptors in your skin cells, essentially giving them the biological instruction to ramp up collagen production. Across decades of extensive clinical trials, retinoids have consistently demonstrated measurable reductions in wrinkle depth. The mechanism is direct, the evidence is highly replicated, and honestly, it is incredibly difficult to find any drinkable supplement with an evidence base that even comes close to this. Finally, we have daily broad-spectrum SPF 30 or higher. This is arguably the most underappreciated collagen intervention in existence. Ultraviolet radiation from the sun is the primary driver of collagen breakdown in your skin. UV exposure activates enzymes that actively degrade your existing collagen fibers much faster than you can produce new ones. So preventing that breakdown is essentially just as crucial as building new collagen. The collagen you protect from UV damage is the collagen you never have to replace. SPF doesn't build collagen. It simply stops the destruction that makes building it necessary in the first place. 3 interventions, all topical or behavioral, all backed by substantial independent clinical evidence, and not a single one of them comes in a powder. Taking the $45 you might spend on a monthly collagen supplement habit and redirecting it toward a well-formulated vitamin C serum, a reliable retinol, and a consistent daily SPF routine will often produce far more reliable outcomes. Because these interventions work directly at the site where your collagen actually lives, instead of relying on a digestive system that has entirely different priorities. So, let's quickly recap what we've uncovered today. We saw how Vital Proteins was acquired for over $1 billion in a move that, to many observers, feels driven heavily by brand identity and category momentum. Rather than bulletproof, independent clinical evidence for that specific formula's skin outcomes. We discussed how NeoCell markets type 1 and type 3 collagen as a targeted delivery advantage, despite the fact that human digestion essentially renders that specificity irrelevant, and how they have faced regulatory scrutiny over their claims in the past. And we touched on products like Hum Nutrition, charging around $40 a month for formulas surrounded by highly sophisticated influencer marketing, yet where robust independent clinical trials are incredibly difficult to find. On the flip side, the 3 interventions with the absolute strongest published evidence for protecting and building your collagen are topical vitamin C at an effective concentration, topical retinol, and daily broad-spectrum SPF 30 or higher. This channel has covered all 3 in depth. They work directly at the skin level. They do not require your digestive system to make complex choices on your behalf. And together, they often cost less than a single month's supply of any of the supplements on today's list. The collagen supplement industry is frequently selling you a destination your body simply cannot guarantee. The topical interventions are already there. Make sure to subscribe, because next week, we are exposing the toner illusion. We will look at why an entire product category exists today, not necessarily because dermatologists identified a genuine clinical need, but because the beauty industry realized consumers would gladly pay for an extra step between cleansing and moisturizing. I'll see you then.